It is Edge Radio Australia. Really excited to have this young man beside me here. Look at that tongue. It's so far in my cheek. I'm licking my ear. That's how far the tongue's in the cheek, mate. It is great to see you, Brendan. You are going to bring a whole new show to us, a multifaceted kind of show, a bit of everything. Great to see you, Brendan Quartermaine.
Hey, how you going, guys? Yeah, it's just a bit of a nerve-wracking one for me, just to come out of doing live shows and being on stage to doing a podcast with Aaron. I'm excited. Aaron's used to be and would love to be again, I guess, my navigator in my rally car. One day I'd like to swap that over and give him a chance to drive.
That's a better idea. That's a far smarter idea.
Yeah, that's right. If you want to make that car go faster, let me drive. But I've had a background in rally and I've really enjoyed growing up in rally. So, hey, race fans, rally friends and families out there, I'm live on Edge Radio. So
you certainly are, mate. Now, but guess what?
Right? We're not here to talk about cars, are we?
We aren't, although that's awfully tempting. And maybe we'll just make that the show next week. I don't know. But now you're going to come in every couple of weeks. We're going to have a bit of a chat about
actually every week.
There you go. Yeah. Oh, not unless I lock the door, you know. But mate, we're going to be talking about all sorts of things. And today we've had a bit of a chat before you came on air and about what we're going to be talking about today. Now, what is this? The Ordinary Guy. This is The Ordinary Guy. We're going to be talking about different subjects of how you can, well, basically, there's adversity in life. We've all got adversity in life. And we take that adversity and we turn it into success. Well, that's certainly the preferred way to go. Now, today, we're going to focus in on one particular aspect of your life, not the rallying. We'll do that again. But trust me, we're going to talk about your building, okay? And you, as part of the building industry from, now, hang on, tell me if I'm wrong. Is it 1987 years ago?
In fact, I started in the industry first and foremost basically as an accountant, would you believe?
Yeah, that makes no sense.
And no, it's not my personality. So I studied, I did, in fact, in the early days, I did intro to computers.
Really?
And yeah, really, that was my first course ever.
Sure.
And that course was...
Hang on, when you were a kid, wasn't that called an abacus?
No,
yeah, or rocks.
It was 1985. I'll never forget this, but 1984, 85. And the first job was how to turn the computer on and make sure it was plugged in.
Okay, great.
From there, I discovered that the ability to anything that's put on a whiteboard, I can memorize.
Okay, that's handy.
It's a phenomenal thing. I can actually, in fact, I did my construction course at TAFE.
Sure.
And I did the course and I then did the exam.
Right.
And instead of doing the exam the normal way, like you read through all the questions, I turned the exam sheet over and I drew a square on each page and filled in the whiteboards that he had done on that year.
No way.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And then when I got through, I only got through 60 to 70% of the exam on the questions, but I got a 98 for the exam.
Right. You liked your artwork. Okay.
No, he saw that I knew my stuff. I just ran out of time.
Right. Okay.
And I said, can I have that piece of paper back?
Yep.
And he goes, no.
Oh.
And I said, why is that? He says, because I need it to be able to do the class next year.
So, you've done his research for him.
Yeah, and it was all done. So I have one of these abilities to be able to memorize stuff. Also have the disability to be able to see everything in 3 dimension.
Okay.
So
this is very handy for a builder, mate.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And when I design a home, I'm actually building it in my head. Every screw, every nut bolt. I can tell you how I do steel frame predominantly.
Right.
I can tell you every single nut, bolt, and screw that's in that framing system and how it's all together. The problem is that I don't get to build them anymore. Somebody else goes and builds them.
Yeah, but you know, you've done the architecture, if you like. You've actually been the guy who's brought the plan together.
Yeah.
So you're kind of the producer, I guess, on this.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We'll go with that. Yes.
Yeah, I'm the producer. So
no, but I think what you just said about knowing every nut and bolt. Okay, this is having that sort of style of memory, having that style of attention to detail. Is a very big deal, mate. Yeah.
It's there are builders out there that just design homes.
Yeah.
There are architects that design buildings.
Sure.
And then there are detailers.
Okay.
And I sit there and I can actually go through and detail every single cut.
Okay.
So that if you've got a post, I can tell you exactly how much that post will be.
Yep.
That's the kind of thing and that's where I've come from. But originally, and actually everybody that looks at my designs go, mate, they're stuck in 1985. And so I've taken that concept and understand that this is probably who I really am, stuck in 1985. And just the ordinary guy. I'm the sort of guy that you wouldn't even give 5 minutes of time to normally if I was walking down the street.
It's a bit rough, but
You wouldn't come up to me and say, hey, can you, tell me about property and all that sort of stuff. But I built myself a massive property portfolio,
right.
and it's still being built today. And I don't predominantly build for clients.
Okay.
I build for small teams.
Small teams. Okay, explain that to me.
Everybody that works on site has a form of ownership in the building.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
This is unusual. All right.
But we're not going to get into the nitty-gritties of that.
Good, because I'm not ready for it. Okay.
No.
Yeah, maybe
The reason why I'm saying that is because as we're building this podcast together,
Yep.
I want to teach you guys how to create these teams so that you move forward.
Yeah. Okay.
Because all of these guys are out in the on the podcast world and on the out there on the internet trying to sell you the hype and everything else. I'm here to show you that it's not about the hype. It's literally just bricks and mortar. As we said yesterday, Lego. It's just putting the brick on top of the brick. It's not a hard process, but it is hard to create the right team and in the right environment.
As human beings, okay, we like to overcomplicate everything, okay? You know, I mean, many years ago, again, talk about the rally thing, I used to have someone would clean my windscreen, right? Now they wanted a title, so we called her the Minister of Optical Clarity, all right? So what I'm getting at is we're just, as beasts, we like to make things more complicated. End of the day, if you're building a home, you're building, forget about a house, you're building a home.
That's right.
That's for people to live in. And why not ask the people who are going to live in that, or the people who are going to be part of it, what they need and build from there, I guess.
I am doing everything I can to avoid clients.
Okay.
It's a hard.
It's a sensational business model, mate. Great.
Well, it does work because A.V. Jennings used to do it back in the 80s.
Okay.
So A.V. Jennings, which became Collier Homes later on, and then and Champion Homes and all that took over their work when A.V. Jennings went under back in 1996, 97.
Okay.
But what that concept was that they built the home and then they sold it to you.
Right.
So they own the house until the end. And that's what I'm aiming for. A lot of the builders are going this way as well.
Okay.
So a lot of builders will predominantly stop selling to the public.
Yeah.
They'll just keep building houses that they want to put on the market, and then they'll sell the end product.
I've noticed that. Well, a builder doesn't want to even know what design you're going to even talk about until they know the block of land, all that sort of thing. But now they seem to be package, right?
Yeah.
They've already built the house, exactly right. You've got the product. It's almost like, you walk into a supermarket and there's your loaf of bread.
Yeah, that's right. And there's no room for variations, changes, and all that sort of stuff. You do those things afterwards. You want to paint it a different color. If you want to, I remember doing a house once and talking to this guy and he says, what would you like? Because I'd like a house in aubergine. So the guy got an eggplant and literally draw the colors of the eggplant on the wall and got sued for it because aubergine isn't an eggplant, it's the color inside.
Well, it depends on what country you come from, right?
So this thing looked awesome, but he got sued for it. Okay. And won the case because that's what it said on the thing, an aubergine, which is a eggplant.
Yep. Okay.
So,
all right.
You've just got to be careful.
All right, so just keep fruit and vegetables away from your builder.
That's right. Don't tell me on an apple green because I'll draw an apple on there.
I'm going to take a bit of a left turn on this one here, right? Okay. There's no nice way of putting this, right? I'm going to just be as straight as I can because you want to protect people's feelings. But a mate of mine 3 years ago built a new house, okay? And he went through it's his first house, very proud, all of that. It is such bad quality, mate. It is built so poorly. I look at it, and when I spoke to someone in the building industry about it, because it's literally just the corners that are cut, quite simply, and the construction quality, you just go, man, this isn't going to last long. And the builder actually said, oh, well, houses these days are built to last 10 years. I'd never heard that before in my life. I just thought that's insane.
It's interesting you bring that up. The life expectancy of a double brick home is only 30 years in general.
Now, but
the life expectancy of a framed home is between 50 and 75 years.
Is that right?
The reason for that is you go back in history, you'll see that all of the old frame homes are still standing today, but the double brick ones are struggling to be serviced.
Okay, because people get to the stage where they're bored of the style of it, right? So they renovate, okay? Yep. And renovations, you freshen it all up for whatever the modern sort of trends are, and yada yada. I look at these older buildings and they're still standing, but they're worth freshening up. These newer buildings, or certainly what I've seen, there is no way they'll ever be in that kind of condition to be to be done up. I'm not talking about frame construction because I know frame construction, and I'm with you. Galvanized, and a lot of them are galvanized,
timber framed or steel framed.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
the good thing about a framed home is that if you want to move a wall,
right,
you can move a wall.
Yeah,
you try moving a double brick wall; it's cemented to the ground.
It's hard work.
It's hard work. Look, you go to places like, say, Thornley. I'm just talking locally. Thornley, all of those older areas that now are 35, 40 years on the. And the hard part is I sold a lot of those properties.
There you go.
When I was working for Pete and Co and all those guys in the days. So I know how old they are.
Yep.
And you're looking at them now and people are going, oh, they're so outdated. And then they're renovating them. That's the life expectancy. That's all they were designed for. They weren't designed
But fashions change. Yeah, that makes complete sense to me. But what I like is the integrity of the building.
Yeah.
Is that good that you can do that?
Look, I have a friend of mine and he does valuations.
Okay.
And probably I don't want to mention any names, but I don't want to mention any nations or anything like that. Okay, so just get the idea.
Okay.
We have a new immigrant came in, bought a property.
Yep.
For $580. The valuation came in at $580. He then did $200,000 worth of renovations.
Right.
They then expected the valuation to come in at say $880.
Okay.
So they're making some profit.
Sure.
Really good. That's what would normally happen. In this scenario, not understanding how the building was built in the first place, the valuation came in at $480.
What?
Unfit for habitation.
No way.
Yep. What they did and what they didn't understand is that we don't build a truss roof. We build a stick roof.
Okay. See, I don't know the difference.
So the stick roof is basically two supports with a ridge going across the top.
Yep.
And then all of the rafters coming off of the ridge.
Yeah, okay.
So what are they sitting on? They're sitting on the internal square wall. So if you look at most houses, they've got a center wall.
Yep.
And everything sits on the center wall or a center beam.
Okay.
So that's what they
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. Now,
so that's it. So what this guy done is took out the center wall to make the room bigger. So the whole roof was now floating in space.
Yeah. Unbelievably.
So one day, very soon in winter, the whole thing's just going to cave in. It looked great.
Yeah, but this is why, and okay, anybody who knows me, and let's face it, I don't make a secret about it, I hate government overreach, okay? Government, get out of it. They're just they're in our wallets, they're in our bedrooms, they're everywhere, right? But I actually am positive about this. I think governments should be, keeping building standards up. They should have those things in place. That's why we have.
As soon as the Shire enter the property, they in reality take responsibility.
The Shire?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the builder's then off the hook.
No.
Yeah, absolutely, because they're under construction.
Yep.
So that's what happened back in I think it was early 90s. I think it was late 90s.
Yeah.
When we used to have a building inspector that came on site to check out the building. That meant that the building inspector knew more than the builder, and the builder had no responsibility. You see, what happened in January 2000, I think it was 2007, 2008, I think it was. The responsibilities changed. So this is where people go, it used to go builder, engineer, architect.
Okay.
It's now flipped the other way.
Right.
It now goes architect, engineer, builder. The builder takes full responsibility. So if that's the case, and all these people that are doing owner builder renovations, they take the responsibility of that house for 7 years.
Right. Because that's the warranty.
That's the warranty period for the work. There's no governing body on that at the moment. There does not seem to be any.
Really?
No. There doesn't seem to be any control over that.
But there's a builder's registration board, and there's the painters one. And
but then even like to get WorkSafe out on your site, they used to come and do inspections, right?
Sure.
WorkSafe come out, check your thing.
That's what
most of the time now they just don't come out until you die.
No way.
That's what I think.
So I mean,
we don't have the capacity.
That's even more why it's so bloody important to have good building quality and have great builders who actually put integrity into the build quality.
The small builder, they've tried to destroy the small builder.
No doubt about that.
Right. And the small builder is going to become the person to be with. And the reason why I say that is because the small builder will be an intricate part of the teams that we create in the future to build houses.
Okay.
We don't want to build for everybody. And there's no way that I'll do that. There's no way that I ever want to be the biggest builder in Australia. I've worked for them.
Right.
I know how BGCs and all of those guys worked.
Okay.
I've worked with them, and you know what? When I left Summit years and years ago, Summit. So here I'm naming off names from way back.
I remember these names.
When we left Summit, one of the core reasons that I wanted to become a builder was because of the way that these guys treated people. But it's the other way around now. It's the way that the public are treating the builder. We're not making the margins that we used to make.
No, there has been a big flip. There's no question.
Oh, yeah. It will flip back. As soon as this settles down, this thing, will it settle down? Not for the next 3 to 5 years, okay? There's no way that this cup is so full right now. The cup is running over and it is spilling all over the place and we cannot keep up. In fact, we only have the capacity in this state to build between 15,000 to 18,000 homes a year. That's it.
And we currently have a housing crisis.
2-year wait.
No question about that, right?
Yeah.
A housing crisis. Why are we not investing in the trades? Why are we not investing in getting more apprentices out there?
We went through a stage from 2000, 5 years before this big boom, 5 years before we went to the point where we had nobody hiring apprentices. I had 3 apprentices, I think, at one stage there, and we have none. Why? Because we don't have the infrastructure to take that on now, because we all work from home. We are more interested in working with clients and teaching them how to build a home as well. And educating. I'm right into education.
Sure.
Right? I started this journey in 1985. At that point, when I was studying to become an accountant, I did my what we call an ACIP, which is the investment planning. And then Paul Keating came along and said, we're going to get rid of that idea. You're going to come under a licensing structure. The whole world changed. I was the youngest employee for a company called Invest West Financial Planning.
Right.
They're still going today. I was I was a regional sales and investment manager for Summit Homes. So I learned about the negative gearing. In fact, I was on the committee that created negative gearing in Western Australia. That's how old I am. I feel like I'm 100 years old.
And he looks it too.
And negative gearing, for example, is that a good thing or a bad thing? If you know how to use it, it's a good thing. But most people don't. They take the tax return and go to Bali.
Rather than reinvest.
Rather than roll it back into the property,
but I think the balance. Okay, I'm going to talk on the social side of things here. It's not really what we're talking about, but I'm going to pivot here. Okay, we need to be looking after the next generations. The problem with negative gearing, and I'm very positive about people minimizing their tax legally and doing it right. Okay, because quite frankly, we pay so much money in tax, and it is used so incredibly poorly that why would you volunteer extra? As Kerry Backer said.
I love negative gearing. Okay, so if anybody wants to get into negative gearing, come and see me. You give me $100, I'll give you 30 back. Is that okay? I'm happy to do that every day of the week.
With maths like that, you should be working for the government. No, look.
I'm actually going to go and apply to take over, the world.
Why not? Why not, mate?
I have, and you and I have our views on that.
we most definitely do. No, but what I was going to say is this. Okay, we've got a situation now where, a first home ownership is near on impossible for most people, right? Because of the tax incentives and because of the negative gearing and because of the investment class who are basically taking that over. Is there a social way that we can, I don't know, bring it into a smaller scale so we can be looking after people at a more grassroots level?
This is what I'm building right now.
Okay.
Exactly that process.
Okay.
There are all these gurus out there on the internet.
Yep.
Come and see me. I'll teach you how to do this. I'll show you how to do that. But they don't actually get down to the nuts and bolts.
Yeah, okay.
So what I've done is I've put together some of the best finance people that I know.
Right.
I've put the best accountants together and to working with them.
Yep.
I've put the best builders together. I've put the best real estate people together.
Mate, you're selling it like it's almost like you're Donald Trump here. Come on, it's the most beautiful building you've ever seen.
I'm actually building. I've got a swimming pool coming out of the ground at home, and we were going to put a container in the ground. And my friend, what does that mean? She says it's like a bomb shelter. And I'm going to call it Trump Tower. It's in reverse, but it's underground.
Underground.
Yeah, but I don't want to be.
Look, I'm teasing you about this, right? Because we're mates. We know each other. We've known each other for a long time. And I know that where I'm going on this is that, okay, you got a great heart, mate. Okay. And I think that you getting involved in this sort of thing is going to bring a lot of people who will be closed out of the game into the game. And I think that's a really positive thing.
That's exactly what we're trying to do. We're looking for those people that are struggling.
Yeah.
They're struggling to get into the market. Every time I look at a house, and I shut it there, every time I look at a house, I can find 40 things in my brain what I can make that property more profitable.
Okay.
I can make that property how I can, and if it doesn't fit, it doesn't get in the system.
Okay.
And there There are so many opportunities out there. I said to my friend the other day, what's your future business? And I said, it'll be taking granny flats out of backyards because there's so many of them going in
Oh,
there.
that pop, 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 bang, bang, bang. Yeah.
That's gonna bleed eventually. Is that going to stop? Who knows? I'm putting granny flats in backyards.
Yeah.
I
think it's a good short-term way of fixing a problem we have right now.
That's exactly right. Is it long-term viable? I don't think so.
I don't know.
I haven't got a crystal ball to see what the future is. Who would have thought? I'm seriously here. Who would have thought that COVID, the thing that almost destroyed the country, would actually put us into this situation where we are today?
Well, it certainly has opened a lot of eyes, hasn't it, mate? I mean, it's making people look at things in a totally different way.
People want to live here. I understand why. You know, people want to live here. Did you know that Western Australia has the highest number of millionaires in the world?
Yeah. Well, that's mainly because of property values. But
no, well, it wasn't, though.
No, it wasn't.
That statement was made in 1996.
Yeah. No,
was
per capita, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. It wasn't done today.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, so the things that I see today, yes, I'm stuck in 1985. Why? Because I understand the basic principles of how to build a company.
Sure.
Most people out there right now are buying property and they're losing money. How does that work? How come? Because they're structured wrong.
Okay.
They're structured wrong. They're not in the right format. They're not set themselves up correctly. Okay. And they're trying to do it on their own.
Yeah, well, trying to do it on your own is a very tough thing. I'm going to open the floor if you like. Now, if you watching online, if you've got a question or comment, feel free to just throw it in there, and we'll be happy if we can to answer that for you. This is interactive, mate. So
wow, people
might be shy. You don't know. People can be shy about some subjects. You never know.
I'm shy.
You are. I can tell. Yeah. First thing I noticed about you, mate, very, very shy. Falling into the background, walking back into the bushes, Homer Simpson style. Right now, you are, mate. Being in the building industry for so long, okay, as I say, 87 we said,
yeah.
But you say that you can't see in 85. You've referred to several times now about being sort of stuck back in 1985. Okay, I could be accused of the same. I think
because people still want to build stuff in a company.
Yeah,
I think the way they're structured, everything's wrong.
And how about a little? Okay, I don't know. I can't put this into words the way I'd like to, but okay. Working small, working with your community, okay, that's a 1985 to me, right? Now everything is corporation, everything is lost, everything is not personalized.
Yeah, but everybody wants to go back to it. Remember the music. We used to buy a record.
Yeah.
We used to buy a CD. We could touch
people are doing that again now.
Yeah,
right?
they're starting, and this is what's happening across the board. People don't want. They want to know the basics. I mean, there are so many guys out there doing all these courses on that, and at the end of the course, you leave the course.
Yep.
And you've got a bag full of notes and you still can't put it together. I put it together.
But going back to that older style of thinking, right? Why are we sitting here having this conversation?
Yeah.
Because, okay, this is how we used to deal with each other.
Yeah.
We got so used to corporate media and the polishness of it all and no mistakes and everything's all squeaky and everything's scripted and everything's planned, right? That we're so sick and tired of life being disingenuous, right? We like real. That's why podcasting, that's why all of this style of interactive stuff with the community, why it's back, mate. And, you can look at it as being stuck in 1985. To me, I see it more as refinding our roots.
I tell people that I retired in 2018.
Right.
Became unretired in 2023, 24.
Okay.
Because I've got to come and fix this planet. It's gone wrong somewhere. Come on, let's fix it.
Oh, look, I tell you, if we're leaving fixing the planet up to you, we've got big problems.
But like you said before, we don't take on apprentices like we used to.
But we need to.
Yes.
Exactly right. And the answer is not bringing in immigrants to fulfill these, right? And again, this is not the anti-immigrant bloody carry on. This is the pro-Australian. We're
both immigrants.
We are, exactly right.
My mother was brought into the country as had a choice.
Right.
In 1950s or whatever it was, she had a choice to either go to jail.
Okay.
Or come to Australia as a nanny.
What choice are you going to take, right? No, look, Australia, immigration is a very positive thing, right? Okay, it is when people assimilate and they become part of the culture and they improve the culture of the country, right? When you're bringing people in to fulfil working needs, when quite frankly you've got people here right now who could be in apprenticeships, could be in those trades, that is absolutely working against your country. Simple as that.
I spoke to a couple of young kids about going into doing apprenticeships
Okay.
recently, okay, and they go, "Doesn't it get done on a computer?" And I'm like, no, you're actually on a building site. You're working
Tools.
Yeah, tools. And they go, what? I have no idea.
Wow.
You know, my son who's got autism, amazing kid.
Yeah.
I remember he was 7 years of age. What do you give a 7-year-old? You give him a drill.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. The tool belt's
a
the
tool
way you go.
belt,
Yep.
a proper drill. I gave him an electric drill and an electric sander,
Right.
an electric jigsaw, and we made stuff together. And he can still use tools, you know. But he works in computers now. I just sit here and frustrated a little bit because I want apprentices, but we can't get them. And do we have enough
Okay.
work for them? Yes, we do. But they want $90 an hour as an apprentice, you know, like hang on, or whatever. You know, I mean, my
Crazy,
apprentice is $75 a week.
Yeah, but that was the 20s, mate. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and I'm talking the 1920s, that is. Yeah, it's been a while.
yeah, no,
very
I'm not
true.
that old. I mean,
I'm teasing you, mate. Like, you know, and why I say that is because we always talk about the good old days, but we say it because we're looking back and we can actually see the benefit. You can also see the negative, right? Okay, everything in life's got positives and negatives. What we're trying to do is make the positives here and bring them into today's world, give the kids a future, give, you know, when it comes to employment or skills and that sort of thing, and also give, you know, look, men and women, you know, the opportunity to get married and have kids and build their own homes. This is important stuff.
I was asked to put a program together in Indonesia,
Right.
and also in Bougainville. And they said, oh, you know, you can take on apprentices and you can teach the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, actually, I'd rather take on the adults.
Right.
Give them 5 or 6 years of really good work.
Yep.
In that 5 years, they give back 5 years,
Okay.
and they teach the next generation down, the next one. Then eventually you'll get to the kids,
Mm-hmm.
and then you'll have more trades. Not trying to wait for those trades to become mature enough to teach others.
Teach a man to fish, right?
That's right. So when you're in the army, they give you 3 years term, because
Yep.
I've been in the army. They give you 3 years term to do your trade,
Right.
and they expect you to put 3 years back to train the next person.
Right. Is that how it works?
That's 6 years.
Okay.
Why can't we do something like that? Where if you teach them. So right now, there's thousands of men that are out there that are struggling. They're going from house.
So true.
They're coming from couch to couch. They're living day to day. Their wife has turned around and said, I want my freedom. The kids have left home. They're loyal to their wives still, and they leave them the house. And they leave themselves because they think to themselves, she'll be right, mate. I will make this work for myself, and I'll be able to pick myself up and do this again. And then the reality hits in, and they go from couch to couch to couch. I want those guys working for me.
That is a fantastic idea. Those guys.
And then I
got
want
the
them
incentive.
teaching the kids.
Yeah, yeah. Leave a legacy, okay? You know, share something, build something for the future. Yeah. I think I use the word legacy, and a friend of mine actually said to me recently, stop using the word legacy, okay?
No way.
No freaking way in the world.
No,
mate.
legacies.
Vitally
My
important.
my mother-in-law just passed away.
Yeah.
Wait for this, 98 and a half.
Okay.
I didn't have the heart to tell her that she wasn't going to get to 100 because she wanted a letter from the Queen. The Queen was exactly the same age and she died earlier on.
Right.
So Mum was there. But I watched my mother-in-law pass away with so much knowledge. She saw the toilet come from the back fence into the house.
Yep.
She watched the telephone come off the wall and into her pocket.
And become a supercomputer.
Yeah, that's right. And then she watched the television go from this wide to this wide. She saw so much information.
Yeah.
And what dawned on me was that I have 60 or 40 years or 50 years of information
Mhm.
in this brain, and I need to give it out to someone else. I need to share it
Yeah.
and teach people how to go forward. Most people have a dream and a desire, but don't have the vehicle to get there.
Well, let's give them the vehicle.
Well, that's what this is all about.
All right. How can people get in touch with you, mate?
Through Edge Radio is probably the best way at the moment.
That's nice and easy. EdgeRadioAustralia.com. We've got a contact page.
Yep.
Look, boom, send a message through, and obviously we'll share.
We
those
are
with you.
building a website right now,
Fantastic.
but my son is a security
Sure.
He's got autism. He loves cybersecurity.
Yep.
And he won't let it go out until it's unpenetrable. We lost a couple of programs before,
We don't want that. We
and we
don't
just want
want
to
that.
make sure that everybody's information is safe.
All right, mate. Well, thank you very much for listening to The Ordinary Guy here on Edge Radio Australia.